So can we come close?
Hello, please, let's sit down. Dr. J is about to start. Hello, Payment Ministry, Women Ministry, we are starting. God bless us all. Dr. J, the mic is yours.
Morning. So I do this presentation on behalf of the medical team, and the topic we were given is preventing lifestyle diseases. Preventing lifestyle diseases. So promoting healthier living through conscious choices. So that is what I want to speak to you about. IT team, can you move? So the main purpose of this presentation, one, is to raise awareness of lifestyle diseases, and then to highlight how our daily habits influence our life choices or the health that we live, and then how I can inspire you on preventive actions. So those are my three main theme or purposes of this presentation. Now I'll start by talking about preventive health. So any action that we will take to prevent diseases before they occur, that's what we refer to as preventive health. So the main focus of preventive health is maintaining a healthy well-being. So every choice that you will make, either you are an adult or an adolescent or a child, and that is what preventive health is about. And I'm sure preventive health has its basis from biblical perspective, caring for the body as a temple of the Lord. So everything that you will do to make sure that your body is healthy and can function for you is what preventive health is about. Now there are three main, can we move? The importance of preventive health. One is to reduce the risks of chronic diseases. Now I'll come to chronic diseases in a bit. And once you're able to reduce chronic diseases, then the impact of it is that you reduce your cost in terms of caring for you in the health aspect. Now one thing you must know about preventive disease or lifestyle diseases is that early detection saves lives. When we are able to see that you are hypertensive and it's as early as possible, we make you have choices that will save your life. And that once you're able to save your life, it means you are going to live longer. And once you are going to live longer, our interest is not just you living longer, but how we can give you an improved quality of life. So whatever we have seen and diagnosed early, how do we make sure that that aspect is controlled? That control makes sure they are going to live longer, and they are not just going to live longer, they are going to have a meaningful life. That's what we call an improved quality of life. Now, my focus will be on these three aspects of preventive health. So when we talk of preventive health, there's a primary aspect of preventive health. And this is what the things we do to avoid disease onset. So you remember that in the early 80s, in the 70s, there were a lot of childhood diseases that were killing our loved ones. So vaccination was one thing that came on that to prevent a lot of infectious diseases. So vaccination is a primary prevention. Now, when it comes to our lifestyle now, the preventive disease that we have, then healthy lifestyle becomes a preventive disease. So something that you will do to prevent life choices or life disease happening. Now, secondary prevention refers to when we are able to pick you up early when you have any condition and we manage it. So it talks about screening. So most time we tell you go for your monthly screening or go for checkups so that your doctor can see any disease that you have as early as possible, and then interventions can be established for you. That's the secondary prevention. Now, for those of us who are living with chronic conditions or chronic diseases, then tertiary prevention becomes our focus. And then it means that even though you have the condition, there are things that we can do to help you to prevent getting complications of the chronic conditions that you have. And that is what tertiary prevention is all about. So when I speak to my mothers and my fathers, our focus most time is on tertiary prevention because most of them have the chronic conditions that we are trying to manage to look at what we do. When I talk to people who are in their 30s and in their 40s, then our focus will be on secondary prevention, how we can screen them early to make sure that we pick conditions that haven't manifested and that we can manage this and them live a lively life. Now my focus is going to be on the topic of today, that is the lifestyle diseases. So these are diseases that are caused by our daily habits and choices. So we bring this disease on ourselves, our daily habits and our choices. So it means that most of these diseases can be prevented. What you can do is that when you have a good life choice in terms of how you live, your lifestyle, and even the environment that you live in, you are able to prevent these lifestyle diseases. The environment, I'll give you an example of the Galamsey that is going on. A lot of people are developing respiratory conditions because they are living in Galamsey areas. Not because they are involved in Galamsey, but just because of where they live and the pollution that goes on in the environment, they end up having lifestyle diseases. So change of environment becomes another issue that we'll look at. Can we move on? IT. Now, why is it important for us to look at lifestyle diseases? Over 70% of global deaths are due to lifestyle diseases. Now, the world has gone through transitions. We've had what we call the demographic transition, where in the 60s and in the 40s and in the 70s, people were not living longer, and so families tend to give birth a lot, so that out of those that unfortunately will die, they will have some of them living. So our great-grandfathers will be giving birth to 20, 15, because there was a high fertility, so that when the communicable diseases strike them, those that will survive will live longer. But now, because of globalization, we have moved from this demographic transition where people are no more giving birth to 15, 20 babies for some to survive and live longer. Because of changes in globalization, our economy has improved, our healthcare has improved, we have technologies that can be used to save babies, there's vaccination, there's good hygiene, there's good healthcare. So now we are no more giving birth to 15, 20 again. We are now giving birth to 5, 4, 3, 2, and even sometimes 1. And that's what we call the demographic transition. Now, come with that is what we call the epidemiologic transition, where in the 40s, in the 50s, and the 60s, the disease that was on our first list were what we call the communicable diseases. So we're dying from malaria, tuberculosis, cholera, diarrhea, meningitis, and all those. So there was more of an infectious transition that was going on. But because of the globalization and industrialization that have come with the demographic transition, we have now transitioned to a place where we are no more dying from these communicable diseases, but we are dying from what we call the non-communicable diseases. So hypertension, diabetes, cancer, that's what we are dying from. Now, it's as a result of our lifestyle that has changed. Now, I remember that in the olden days, our grandfathers would walk miles to go to their farms and come back and come and live. They were eating fresh foods that they have cultivated and eating on. But now what do we see? Because of globalization and because of industrialization, what are we feeding? We are feeding on processed foods. We are not having a very good lifestyle of having good exercises and everything. And that is where now the conditions that are dying from are what we call the non-communicable diseases. And lifestyle diseases are a subset of non-communicable diseases. 75% of these deaths occur in where we find ourselves, low and middle income countries. Now in Ghana, among the top 10 causes of conditions that we have are the non-communicable diseases or the lifestyle diseases. And these account for 43% of all the deaths that occur in Ghana. Now because we are living longer, and because we are having conditions that tend to live with us longer, it has a lot of economic and social impact on our pockets and also on the state. So now if you are living with hypertension and you're going to clinic for the next 20, 30 years that you are living, imagine the impact that it has on your economy and also on the state as a whole. And so that's why it's important for us to understand these lifestyle diseases and what we can do to prevent them so that we don't have this economic impact and we can also live longer and have a meaningful impact. Now, what are these common lifestyle conditions? So we talk of cardiovascular conditions. So here, hypertension, stroke, heart diseases, these are all cardiovascular conditions. Diabetes, but here specifically type 2 diabetes. Then obesity. You put on so much weight that your BMI becomes out of range. Certain type of cancers, because not every cancer is a result of your lifestyle conditions. Certain type of cancers. I've talked about respiratory conditions, like those who are living in mining areas where air pollution, or not even those living in industrial communities where a lot of air pollution is affecting their lungs. And so they are developing adult asthma, they are developing chronic obstructive airway conditions. Road traffic accidents. Because of your careless lifestyle choices, you are involved in taking alcohol, you are involved in doing drugs, so you are not very safety on the road. You end up having a bad accident that leads you to having a spinal conditions or a nervous condition that becomes a lifestyle diseases. And of course, some mental health issues. So here, stress, depression, anxiety, all fits into. And once these conditions come, they linger on and help you to develop other communicable conditions. So these are where our focus is going to be on. Now, the major risk factors. Unhealthy diet. So what you take in. Unhealthy diet. We used to eat a lot of the greens, the fresh, but now what do? A lot of pizza. Is that? A lot of pizza, a lot of oily and fat, frozen chicken and all those unhealthy diets. Physical inactivity. So you can ask yourself, when's the last time you were involved in any physical activity? And not just walking from your home or from your car to your home, or an activity that engages your heart. People who smoke, people who consume alcohol. Now, research has shown that these 4 things, diet, physical activity, tobacco, and alcohol, when they are removed from somebody's life, it removes 80% chance of you developing any lifestyle condition. And once you add stress to it, or you remove stress, then you are going above 80%. So it means it's just about 20% of you having a lifestyle condition. You're able to control just these 4. And once you add having a good stress-free life and having a good sleep, then you are above, our body is made up of water. So imagine if you don't hydrate yourself, what your body goes through. And that's what we advise you to stay on. Now, exercise. Now, for any adults, it's advised that you get 150 minutes of exercise per week. Or if you are going to do a very strenuous exercises, then at least 75 minutes. So this 150 minutes comes to about 30 minutes for 5 days. So if you're able to engage yourself in a physical activity, a good physical activity, and what are these? It could be an aerobics that engages your heart, or strenuous activities or physical activities that helps you to build your muscle, your joints. That helps you to prevent what we call degenerative conditions of the joint. So you end up a very small, because you are not engaged in any conditions. When you wake up in the morning, all your joints are hurting you. All your back is hurting you because you are not engaged in any physical activity. So what we advise, you can engage in walk, you can engage in jogging, you can engage in dancing, swimming, or do chores that will help you to improve your physical activity. Now, these are things that we advise that you avoid. And I believe we are all not engaged in smoking, alcohol. Recreational drugs. I put in this because of our adolescents and even some of our young adults that are involved in a lot of recreational drugs. So now, if you go on social media, they think it's fun to put on people who have taken what they call the red, and they are just standing there. But the implications of that drug that has on your liver and your kidney in the next 5-6 years is enormous. And that's how now we have a lot of people having renal conditions, liver conditions that do not have any answers to. And if you think that you are affected in one way or the other by these recreational activities, then we advise that you seek support. Because addiction is real, but there's a way that we can help you to improve on that aspect. Now, how do you manage your mental and emotional world? You need to manage your stress. There are a lot of ways of managing stress. I don't know how I manage my stress on weekend is watching football. It gives stress to others, but that's how I manage my stress. I don't know how you do. Some do meditation, some do prayers, some do just walking around. Anything that takes off stress. Because once you have stress, you activate hormones in your system that helps, that can set up processes that gives you hypertension, diabetes, and co. So help you manage your stress. Maintain work-life balance. Look, no matter how stressful your work is, if you want to put all that work on your head, you fall down one day, the next minute somebody will take your place and the work will go on. So you need to manage and have a very balanced work-life attitude. If you think that that is not possible, then get all the emotional support that you need. It could be from your spouse, it could be from your family, it could be from an experienced person. And of course, I can't talk more about sleep. And then the next slide is on sleep. Yes, so maintain a good sleep. About 6 to 8 hours of a good sleep per night or per day is good for you. What sleep does is that it boosts your immunity and helps your body to reset. So your heart, your mind resets, and you can now go on for what you want to do the next day. Imagine if you are not able to sleep a whole night. The next morning when you woke up, it's like there's something on your head. It's like somebody has beaten you throughout the whole night. So why do you want to take your body through that stress? And make sure that you have a constant or a consistent sleep schedule. Somebody can sleep 2 hours during the day, and once he gets 4 hours in the night, it adds up to 6 hours and the person is fine. If you have that constant sleep pattern, that is what we advise. Where your body can always be maintained and then can be energized. Now, for screening, we advise that once you hit 30 or 40 years, there are certain screening activities you are supposed to engage in, at least once a year or even twice a year. So this is when you have to speak to your doctors. And I'll go into some of them specific in the subsequent slides. Get a regular checkup. I said that when you hit the retirement age, one of the people that has to be your friend is a health person, either a nurse or a doctor. Somebody that can understand you, can always explain certain things to you so that you know yourself and you know your health. The common thing, the 3 common things, know how your blood pressure is, know how your sugar is, and know your cholesterol levels. These 3 things are the basic that you should always be maintaining. If you don't have a good pressure, get it under control. If your sugar is not good, get it under control. If you have a bad cholesterol level, get it under control. Because when these three things are controlled, a lot of the cardiovascular conditions that we talked about are maintained or are removed from your system. And of course, have ways of checking your vital organs. Here, our focus is on your kidney and your liver. Once you hit 60-45 going, then we talk about other internal organs, your colons and other things. And I need to stress the importance of this is that early detection saves lives. Once of the screen that you go about, we pick up something early. We institute measures that help you to live longer. Now, for men, our focus is on cardiovascular conditions. So once you start having chest pain, it's not normal. You start having tightness in your chest, it's not normal. You start having shortness of breath, it's not normal. It's telling you that there's something in your heart or in your system that is not normal. You need to seek to your doctors and find solutions to that. Prostate, you start having issues with urination. Either you are not able to urinate well, or you have a poor stream, or once you finish urinating, you feel like still there's some urine left in my bladder. It means that I need to check what is happening to your prostate. Or once the sight of blood in your urine, in your stool, is not normal, don't take it for granted. Speak to your doctors and find solutions too. Because once you have urine in your blood, it's something going on. It could be a cancer, it could be from the prostate or from the bladder itself. If you see it in your stool, it could be telling you that something going on in your colon that we need to screen. And once that sight is you alerting you that something is going on, if you're able to detect it early, we might be able to remove it and you live a longer life. For men, make sure that your testes, you are able to examine it yourself. For every man, just like a woman will examine the breast and make sure there are no lumps in. For a man, your test is very important because a swelling, a lump, or pain in your testes is not normal. So we need to find out why that is there for the doctors to advise you on what to do. And of course, a lot of things that gives us a lot of stress is erectile dysfunction. If you are experiencing it, there are solutions to it. Don't keep it to yourselves and let that give you stress for you to develop other lifestyle conditions. Find solutions to it. So what do you have to do? Once you hit 18 years, we advise that you start checking your blood pressure. Because now we are not seeing pressure alone in the adult. A lot of adolescents are living with hypertension and that we need to control it. So once you're above 18 years, check your blood pressure. Once it's elevated, there's a solution for you. For your prostate, for men, once you hit 40 years, you need to check your PSA level. You need to do a pelvic scan to do. But if there's a family history of prostate diseases in your life, then you, the 40 years, you shouldn't even get to that. From 35 or 30 years going, you need to start screening for prostate because you are at a higher risk of developing this lifestyle condition. And of course, for your blood sugars, once you hit 35 years and above, we don't just check your fasting blood sugar, but there's something we call glycated hemoglobin level. We want to see how your blood sugar has been for the next or the past 3 months. Above 35 years, we advise that you do that. And of course, once you have 45 and 50 years going, we'll start looking at in your colon. Because one of the common conditions that kills our elderly men is what we call colorectal cancer. And one thing that we can screen is to do a colonoscopy for you. I've talked about examining your testes, and once you have any issue with, speak to your doctors and let them find solutions to it. And of course, mental health. Mental health is very important. How do you recognize depression and how do you look out for? For my mothers and my sisters, we advise, if once you see any changes in your breast, either in a lump, a swelling, your nipple, either it's retracted or even have a discharge from your nipple, you need to look for answers. Either you are coming for examination for us to do a mammogram and a scan for you, so that we advise you as early as possible. Because I keep making the point that early detection saves life. It's when it is seen late, when it has spread, then it becomes very unpleasant for us and for you. Once you have any irregular menses, especially for those who are postmenopausal, you start bleeding or you start having abnormal discharges. It's not normal. Or you start having pelvic pains that you cannot explain. It's telling you that there's something going on in your pelvis. It could be from your ovary, it could be from your uterus, or it could be from your cervix. Let's find answers as soon as possible. Of course, for bone health, it used to for both men and women. Once you start having issues with early osteoporosis, so there are issues with your joint, let's find solutions to. And of course, the same heart condition that I spoke about for the men, and then for mental health issues. But for women, for our ladies who are still in the reproductive age range, we talk of postpartum depression. We see a lot of women who, when after delivery, they go into depression. That is not managed very well. It can linger on and it lead on to other depressions in life. So if there's any history of that, make sure that you are dealing with that also. And of course, mood swings. It's not normal that you get mood swings all the time. If it becomes persistent, let's find solutions to you. So what do you have to do? The screening, as I talked about, is important. Monthly breast self-examination. Know your breast, so that when there are changes in it, you will know that there are changes in it. And then, of course, once you hit 40 years, we have started that you advise that you start doing what we call mammograms. And once this is normal, every 3 years, you can go ahead and do that. And of course, pap smear. We want to pick up early cervical changes for cervical cancer. So we advise that once you are above 21 years, you start. Or there's now an HPV vaccine that we give. If for our kids, I'm sure they are going to roll out very soon in Ghana. I think the next month or the next 2 months. So for our children who are in that age group, we advise that you let them take this vaccine because it prevents us from getting what we call the cervical cancer. And if we are above that, then you are at having what we call the pap smear done for you, and then that can be examined. And of course, diabetes, bone scans if you're above 65 years. So we can pick up any issues that you have in your bone and advise that. And of course, also for the colon, as a man would do. Now, my advice is that now we have moved from the era when we treat every patient the same to what we call patient-centered care. So your health is different from other person's health. So once you see your doctor, you make sure that you are setting realistic goals on any of the least lifestyle diseases that we are talking about. So if it has to do with your blood pressure, your realistic goal might be different from my realistic goal because of other risk factors that you have. So you and your doctor will come up with a realistic goal that you want to achieve. If it's weight, what is the realistic weight reduction that I can undertake in the next couple of months? So make sure that those goals are set for you and your doctor understands you. You are involved in setting those goals. What are you supposed to do? What are the diet that you are supposed to go on? What are the exercises you are supposed to do? What medication are you supposed to do? And make sure that you track these goals that you have set for yourself so that you can know that you are making progress or not. And if you are not, what are advices that can be given for you as for your health team? Then how you become consistent with the habits that you'll be advised to do. So if it's exercise, I know starting exercise is very difficult. So how do you become consistent with it depends on the goals that you set and how realistic those goals are. And of course, make sure that you are choosing a healthy life or healthy habits every day. So in making sure that you schedule, make sure that you schedule your health screening. If you haven't done that, maybe go on your phone and make sure that you schedule your health screening. Once you're about 45, you make sure that you add what we call the tumor markers. So a screening for somebody in the 30 years might just be for the kidney, the liver, the cholesterol, and co. But once you are about 45, you are in the era of developing cancers. So we add what we call the tumor markers to it. And tumor markers are different for men and women. So for a man, we will look at maybe the PSC. For a woman or for a man, for the colon, or for a woman, we look at what we call the CA125 or CEA. These are all different tumor markers, and there are plenty of them. So based on your history and based on what you think you should have, that's what we'll be screening you for. Begin your physical activity from today. If you are not engaging, please do. And my advice is to do at least 30 minutes a day. Then if you don't have, establish what we call the health groups. So this could be your family, it could be your friends, it could be a corporate, it could be a church, where you encourage each other on engaging in physical activity. So some health groups, maybe after early morning prayers, they engage in having 30 minutes of physical activity. Some can do it over the weekends. Or even though they are not able to meet, they encourage each other on phones. Are you engaged in your activity today? So that you keep each other going, and it helps you to develop that attitude. Then commit to a balanced diet. For we doctors will tell you that eat more fruits, eat more vegetables, whole grain. But there's a work of a dietitian that will go into deeper of what you are supposed to eat if you are at risk. And they can actually calculate how much of grain you are supposed to take, how much of fruit you are supposed to take, and how much of calories or water you are supposed to take. So make sure that that is also committed to. And of course, mental and spiritual health is very important. Because if you don't have a good mental and spiritual health, you are not going to get a good physical health that you want to attain to. In summary, I would say most lifestyle diseases are preventable. And they are as a result of our lifestyle or our daily choices that we make. Now, how do we prevent them is the choices that we intend to start or we intend to establish from today. Now, if you are able to have a good diet, you exercise well, you avoid smoking and alcohol, and even if you add a good stress life and sleep to it, then I can assure you that you're going to live a very meaningful life, because those things add up to having a very good health outcome. And get screened. If you have not been screened in a while, start today, because I say early screening will help us to detect early actions, and then we can implement it as much as possible for you. Now, preventive health is a gift to ourselves and our loved ones. You are not going to do it for me. You are not doing it for your spouse. You are doing it for yourself. So make sure that you cultivate that habit. Caring for the body harness the temple of God. Because if you want to go on and make a meaningful impact, you want to go on and win souls, and you are not healthy, you cannot go ahead. So make sure that you honor the body that God has given you. And in lifestyle choices, every small step that you make is very meaningful, because it leads to the bigger picture, the bigger changes that you want to. You think that you can exercise 5 minutes a day. That's where you are starting from. That helps you to build your tolerance. You move to 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and that leads you to do. And make sure that you commit to a healthier body, a healthier mind, and a healthier soul. Thank you very much. And I'll take questions from now.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. AJ. Okay, so please, do someone have any question? Okay.
Thank you very much, Doc. Can you please give some more details about the recreational drugs with some examples?
Thank you very much.
You know, in the past, when we talk of recreational drugs, our focus was on heroin, cocaine, and those. But now the recreational drugs around is more of abusing the pain medications. So the opioids that we use in treating people with chronic conditions, moderate and severe pain, people have manufactured them in a higher doses. So I'll give you an example. The maximum dose of tramadol that we can give to any person, sometimes we'll do between 200 to 400, based on, and the person will take it for a whole day. So maybe you take 100 morning, every 6 hours you take 100, and it's somebody who's in severe pain. But now, they have been able to manufacture as high as 250 milligram dose of tramadol. And that is what the youth are abusing now. And that's what they call the red tablet. So that's what they put it in energy drinks. So imagine a high dose of opioid, and then they add it to energy drinks. So they take it because of the euphoria that gives them. So once they take it, they don't even know what is going on around them. And that's why you can see video of them. Somebody will be sleeping by the roadside, or he thinks that he's even sleeping on his bed, but he's just standing on. So those are an example of one of the recreational drugs. It doesn't end there. They've even gone to the fact that now they are even using perfumes because of the alcohol-based perfumes, and then they mix it with other things. Then comes what we call the shisha, where they are not just smoking flavored smoke, but now it is weed that they are putting into to do the smoking. Now, when you go on campus, if you buy, if your child is on campus, when you go, ask them if they know what we call the infused drinks. So the Sobolo that you see on campus is no more the normal Sobolo that you and I know. It's Sobolo that has been mixed with weed. So that's what they call infused. Now, if during the whole weeks, when you go on campus and you don't have these infused drinks, nobody will buy your Sobolo. And they just want they want the under part. So it gets to a point in time when they come and tell that don't shake the Sobolo anymore. They don't want the weed in it to mix. They want a concentrated one. And then now they even have what we call the sprinkles. So the weed is made in the form of spices. So when they buy food, maybe watch or anything, they just sprinkle it on it and then they are eating. Then it's in cakes and toffees. So when they go for their drink cups, when they are giving you a toffee, they'll ask you, are you part of us? If you are not sure and you say yes, it's a heroin that is made from the toffee. Cakes. My eldest brother, schoolmates went for a program. And then one of them came with cakes. He brought it for people that he does those things with. So he took it to the table where my other brother was. And then they didn't know anything about the cake, so they also took some. So one started eating. Then he told them that you are not part of us, don't eat this. They didn't know what was in. It was infused with heroin. One of them, his brand new car, he threw it away. He didn't even know where he was. So that is where the recreational aspect has gotten into. Even in traffic now, you see people they'll be selling the condensed toffee. If you are not careful and you buy them and you don't know what you are buying, some of them are made up of weed. So that is where the recreational aspect has got into. So it's not just about the red. It is going into even the corporate world where people are doing all these things. But you see, the sad aspect is that all these things have consequences. You end up having heart conditions, end up having kidney conditions that you bear or to come up in the next 5-10 years. That is one thing about lifestyle conditions. The choices you make now, you don't see the impact of it today. It starts in the next 5, 6, 10 years. And that is why when you have good impact now, then you can live a meaningful life. But if you make bad choices now, then it's going to affect you going forward. So that's what the recreational aspect comes
in. Yeah, Alex, my question is on diabetes. You know, they say most of the food that we eat over here has a kind of sugar and all those stuff. So in order to prevent more sugar, can I decide to take one meal a day?
Okay. So it's true that our food has what we call very high glycemic index. Because our staples or what we eat is all the sugary food. So if it is cassava, maize, and that's what we make our food from. But you see, our body relies on this energy. We need it. Our body produces energy for us. If your body is working normally, then you don't have a problem when you eat kinky, because your body is going to break it down. It's giving your hormones will be worked on it, and it will give you the energy you need to work. Now, if your body is not functioning normal, so for somebody who has type 2 diabetes, there's a problem because your body is not able to produce enough of the insulin that you need to work on the glucose you are eating. Or even if it produces enough, your body is not able to mop it up from where it's supposed to mop up. So that is when it means that you have a risk So once you add a high glucose diet to it, your body will not be able to produce this as somebody who doesn't have a risk. So it's not just about what you are eating. It's about what is your risk. So it's not about eating 1 meal a day. People can eat, so there are some people who can pour sugar and drink the whole they are going to develop diabetes because their body is functioning normal. That's how God created us. He created a factory that once everything goes in, it's able to manufacture it and you get what you need. You become defective if one thing in you is not functioning, and that's where it comes in. Now, there are some people who say, okay, I will take, based on the dietary advice I get from my dietitian, I might have a big meal during the afternoon, and then I will get maybe what we call the moderate or minimum meal in the morning or in the evening. That is a plan you have with your dietitian, and that works for you. That might not work for somebody else. Do you understand? So it's not just about cutting down on glucose food. If there's a need to cut down because of your risk of diabetes, we'll advise you strictly on that. And even that we don't say don't take. We'll restrict you to a quantity of the glucose that you will take because your body needs it. So that we'll supplement it with other, the proteins, the vegetables, the fruit that you need to be able to get. Because the advice here is a balanced diet. You can't have a balanced diet when one aspect is not in it. It will be in it, but the quantity will be reduced. And that's what you will need.
It's good for our health. So can somebody also start practicing something like that?
Define
I'm talking about in general.
Define what you mean by intermittent fasting.
Yeah, what people normally say is that maybe you can eat maybe around 2 o'clock today and wait till maybe the next day, 2 o'clock, before maybe you take your first meal, before the other ones maybe follows. So is it a good practice for, I'm talking about in general, not people with diabetes alone or something like that.
So it's not something I will say is a good practice. It's different when you are on a spiritual journey. That your body, you prepare your body, and there's a reason why we are going to fast. We are told that we'll fast maybe in the next 10 days, in the next 15 days. You start psyching your body up. And even in that, your body becomes used to that. Okay, I might not get the energy I need around this time, but in the evening I'll get so and so. So your body starts preparing itself. Remember, health is not defined as only just physical and mental well-being, but social and spiritual. So we understand that spiritual health is important to be able to be on the agenda you want to be on. So fasting is important for your body. It helps you nourish, it helps you improve your soul and everything. But there's a reason why you undertake it on a planned aspect. The fact that you say you are going to eat 2 and you are going to start yourself and eat the next day, it doesn't give you your body any plan. Your body doesn't know what you want. So what happens is that your body stores your food in a certain fat form. Then because it's not getting enough, it starts breaking it down. Once it starts breaking it down, it comes to what we call the oxidative stress your body goes through. Your body doesn't need that. So you see, even for diabetics, they are advised that you need to get something handy on you so that when your body starts saying that I need energy, I need glucose, they start shaking, they can able to put something in. Because the body is structured to be on the energy that you need. So it's not because you are going to do intermittent fast that's going to save you. You are better off engaging in physical activity, having a balanced diet. That is more better than you going on this intermittent fasting that people advises you to do. It gives you a more balanced aspect in terms of your physical diet, stress, sleeping, and everything that you need.
Hello. I have 2 things to say. Okay. First of all, I work in a pharmacy that is close to a school. And I just want to buttress what you said about the students abusing recreational drugs. Yes, it has gotten to the point they call something vaping. I think is some flavored kind of handy thing, and it looks like a toy. They are selling it to people as young as JSS students, and these kids are willing to save their lunch monies to buy it. Also, some food vendors and snack vendors are putting bits and pieces of this weed and recreational drugs in their products so people can be addicted and keep coming to buy more. So this is something that I want to create awareness to parents and then anyone that you are looking after, that you should let them know that this thing is going on. And then my second thing is, if we want a footage of what we are discussing, we get it, and how are we going to get it? Thank you.
I had to give to you. This one is, they say you want a footage of what we are discussing. I think I don't know if it's been recorded. So the IT team, I think so. We'll talk to Kofi and the team. Okay. Yeah, the slides, I'll leave the slides for you. I'll send it to Auntie Gift so that you can say it for everybody. Thank you.
I want to share an experience I had recently with fruits. In a bid to lose weight, I got to a point where I was doing fruit smoothie every morning. So instead of eating breakfast, I was doing smoothies, and I was mixing everything, like banana, pineapple, every fruit. But I realized during that time that my sugar level started going up. Actually, I started wee-weeing more, and just saw them, like you just have to rush, kind of. And I realized that my sugar was going up. So I saw a doctor, and he said, no, it is the fruits. So I just want to say that, yes, we are saying we should eat a lot more fruits and vegetables, but we need to be careful. The sugar level in fruits these days are very high. And especially when in the evening you say, oh, accommodate me, but I don't want to eat heavy. And you eat some banana and pineapple especially. You may be, doctor, you can advise.
Thank you very much. So a very important point. So you see, the underlying thing is a balanced diet. So eating fruits alone might not be balanced. Do you understand? So even when we advise you this portion of fruits, this portion of protein, this portion of carbohydrate, this portion of water. But if you want to, and rely solely on that because of the glycemic index of the fruits. And now, mind you, we are also getting fruits that are not very organic. So they have very high glycemic index. So that's a very important point to make, Mommy. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to add a bit to what my sister Marian said. The fruits, especially when you blend it, then you have more glycemic index than when you chew it. But I will encourage all of us to have our local plants. That's, for instance, bitter leaves, moringa in your house. Just plant it in the house. Bit of it helps a lot. If you should eat the pineapple, because I did personal experiment on myself. My sugar level, because I was taking a lot of the blending a lot of things, including the pineapple, mango is in season. They say when the thing is in season, we should eat it. But then it will raise your glycemic level, your glucose level. But if at the same time, if you should blend some bitter leaves fresh and drink it, and you measure it, you realize that within an hour it will drop. And also, if you can, so you just take everyone should plant this bitter leaf in their house. It just comes like that. It helps a lot with a lot of disease control. And also moringa. If you have the plants, and as a friend, they just took moringa and avocado and blended it together and used it as a paste for bread to spread. And it goes not to let the bread stay in you. Sorry, I have to say this. These are small experiments I've been doing on, living on natural food. So these are some of a few things I just want to add is important. As for recreational drugs, where I'm coming from, I don't want you have said a lot about it, but if you hear recently the Narcotics Control Commission is all over the place in town, you hear, because the dynamics are becoming too, I mean, you don't even know how to say, because when you take one step, those who are trying to get the youth, especially our youth, into drug, into substance use, are advancing more than the system that is controlling it. And the youth are getting motivated, the younger ones, and it's becoming very alarming. So I will not say if I start to talk about it, because it's a daily thing for me, and because I am in it. And the strategies that we are trying to use, and it's not really, it's frustrating, because as you pass here, they come through several ways. And so it's a whole topic we can talk about. But the advice I want to say is that let's all know our children. Let's monitor them. Let's be friends with them. Let's see what they are doing, what their friends are talking to them about. Because they live, some of people you see, they are in the Christian home, and they are using these substances right under the nose of parents, and we are seeing it, but we couldn't believe that our children could do that, and so we are not trusting that. I mean, we don't believe they could do it. So we don't. So when they confide in you that they are doing this, mommy is not aware, daddy is not aware, you are alarmed. They are from the church, they are from everywhere. So let's pay attention. That's what I want to say about substance use. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So this one is just, I want clarification. I know coffee is an antioxidant, or what? Coffee. Coffee. What is it?
Caffeine.
Is what?
Caffeine.
Is it stimulant and then antioxidant or something? Is it safe taking coffee, tea as breakfast? Like, is it normal?
So not for everybody. Not for everybody.
But is it safe?
It's safe, but there are some people who have high risks of certain conditions, will not advise them to. Because people with a lot of cardiovascular conditions, to high caffeine becomes a problem for them. So that, I said, is now individual. So based on your risks, we'll advise you. So if you don't have that risk, it might be safe for you. It might not be safe for me because of the risks I have. So it would be good to know your risks. Then we can advise you that the caffeine is safe or not. Don't be alarmed.
Thank you, Dr. J. Please, as the questions keep coming, please, the offering bowl is there. Let's bring our offering. We are taking 2 more questions, then we'll be done. Thank you. Thank you. Please, our offering. Holy name, you are on the victory. We will praise your holy name. You have won the victory. The Lamb of God was slain. He's worthy to be praised. Oh, Lamb of God, we will praise your whole. The Lamb of God was slain. The Lamb of God was slain. He's worthy to be